Hey y'all, Hunter Elliott, rangehot.com. Hope you're doing well. So this afternoon I'm finalizing a review on a gun that we've had about 3.5 months now. This is the Rock Island Armory TAC Standard FS, chambered in .45 automatic. Before we go any further, I do want to show you the detachable 8-round box magazine is out. The slide is locked to the rear, and I've ensured the chamber's empty, so we know the gun's safe to talk about. However, we're always pointed downrange in a safe direction, so we're all good to go there. Had this gun, like I said, about 3.5 months, and it's actually been pretty reliable. I haven't had any kind of failures in the gun, but we had a couple little issues crop up. We're going to talk about those after I get done with the specifications. Overall length on this pistol is 8 3/4 inches. Overall height is 5.5 inches. Weight just under 3 pounds. The width is 1.3 inches. It is a 5-inch government model, 5-inch barrel. And you can see here it is nicely parkerized over 4140 ordnance steel. The trigger pull measures just over 6 pounds on my Lyman mechanical gauge, and the MSRP, $685, which is very reasonable considering all the gun you're getting. However, you know street price is going to be much better than that. So now let's talk about the gun. Throughout the review, we shot a myriad of different types of range and defensive ammunition. Shot a lot of Defender, ammo, Barnul. Armscore sent me a couple hundred rounds of their .230 ball. Winchester Ranger, a lot of double tap, a lot of hot double tap, and some Gorilla ammunition. So no kind of malfunction or misfeed on the gun, but occasionally when we run the gun dry, it did not lock the slide to the rear. Now, when that cropped up, I marked the mag. The failure followed the mag. I went in, I got a couple magazines from my Dan Wesson pistols. Also grabbed a couple of the Colt mags, the Checkmate 7-round with the dimpled follower and the hybrid feed lips. All those, no problems at all. Every time the gun run dry, I'd lock the slide to the rear, just with this magazine. And it happened a handful of times, so that's something to consider. I'm not exactly sure what kind of mags these are, who makes them, because it doesn't say. They kind of look like a TAC mag, but honestly, I don't care who makes them because I don't like them. They're not good mags. It's a good pistol, but if you're considering something like this, which I would say absolutely, I would invest in better quality magazines like from Checkmate and that sort of stuff. Not a fault of the gun. Make that clear. So we'll talk about the gun itself. Features, come up here at the top. We do have a set of pretty good sights. It is a rear sight. It is adjustable for windage. It's got a little set screw here. You can drift it port or starboard, and then you just got a black kind of front sight. It's worth mentioning that we did take this out to 25 yards, and we shot some groups with it from a rest, and it was averaging between 2 3/4 and 3 inches, which is, it's not bad. But I feel like if we had a little bit better front sight, maybe something with a red dot, a white dot, True Glow, Ameriglow, or maybe like a fiber optic front sight to give me some contrast. You know, we were out there shooting a bullseye target. We had a black target, black front sight, black rear sight, no contrast. Now, my aging eyes needs all the help they can get, so if it were me, this is a good gun, good candidate for a different front sight. Now, coming out here, you can see it's kind of a monolith style design, and what I mean by that is you don't see the traditional ball cut like you do on a 1911 dust cover. However, Rock Island was good enough to machine in an integrated accessory rail, so your lights, lasers, what have you will fit. That's a pretty nice touch. We spoke about the trigger breaking just over 6 pounds. It is adjustable for over travel. The front strap here is partially serrated. It's kind of machined down in and then some serrations. And then coming here to the back strap, the mainspring housing, it is nicely serrated. However, it is worth noting that's a polymer mainspring housing. It's not a huge deal. A lot of manufacturers do it. Some of the Colt pistols you go buy come with a polymer mainspring housing. I've never had one give trouble. However, I look at this as marketed toward a duty gun, and if it was going to be something that I would everyday carry, I would consider swapping it out for a steel part. Just my personal opinion. Coming up here to the grip safety with just a hint of some serrations on the palm swell, and that's going to ensure when you grasp this pistol, you are reliably disengaging the grip safety. A skeletonized speed hammer serrated on the top, and then finished off with ambidextrous thumb safety. Over here we got the magazine catch. It's also serrated, worked just like it was supposed to. I know it sounds like I was kind of dogging the gun a little bit. I complained about the mags, I mentioned the front sight, and I mentioned the mainspring housing. Now look, y'all, these are just my opinions, you understand? Somebody else may be like, I love the way that front sight's set up, or I don't care about a polymer mainspring housing. You know, I mean, we're just under 3 pounds on the gun, so, you know, a little bit of weight savings maybe be there. Now understand that with this monolith design, when we were shooting some of the hotter double tap ammunition, I can appreciate the fact that you got a little bit more weight down here at the muzzle to kind of help keep control under those plus P45 autos. A few ounces here and there on the muzzle ain't gonna make a hill of beans worth of difference if you're gonna conceal carry the gun, because hopefully you got your good, nice leather holster, Kydex holster, and a good gun belt. You're not walking around with this thing stuffed into Uncle Mike's, flopping around looking like some kind of mall ninja, you know what I mean? Anyhow, I digress. 350, 375 rounds all total, no malfunctions with the gun. But as always with a 1911, I like to field strip these guns, detail strip these guns, look at all the small parts and pieces, see how everything's kind of come together. All right, y'all, so we got it all detail stripped, all the little parts and pieces spread out on the table here, and I'm gonna take a hard look. As you can see, the gun is pretty nasty. So all things considered, let's get after it. That's what happens when you get old. So I got the barrel here. I'm looking at the radial locking lugs. They are nice and crisp. All the edges are sharp. There's no chips or breaks on that. Inside of the slide here, the mating lugs, they're also nice and crisp, clean. Just a little bit of wear on the finish was to be expected. Everything looks good on that, which tells me that the gun is timed correctly. It is worth noting, though, this pistol does not run a firing pin safety, which I think is a plus. It does run a full-length guide rod, and that's fine. It's not going to hurt anything. I don't like them. I think they make it a little bit too aggravating to field strip, detail strip. So, but I mean, it's not going to hurt nothing. Just, I don't care for full-length guide rods. Trigger looks good. Trigger bow, mainspring housing. We talked about that. The sear and disconnector. Sear still got sharp edges on it. Nice and crisp on that. Same with the disconnector. All that looks good. The lugs on the ambidextrous safety look fine. Something I did want to check. This lug on the, so the lug on the slide stop is good to go. So that confirms I suspected that it was a magazine follower issue. And that's going to confirm to me that it is. Even though we know we chased the problem only with one mag, seeing that lug just lets me know. I will say this, it comes with rubber stocks. They're kind of a hard rubber, and I really like these. I really do. They're quite comfortable to shoot, but you know, they're not sticky, but they're almost just a little tacky, but not tacky as in bad taste, y'all. A little like when I drag my thumb across them, they're just a little tacky. I do like those rubber stocks a lot. I think that's pretty cool. It does use Allen head stock screws, and I hate that. But most all manufacturers now are running Allen head stock screws, and the reason I don't like it is because, just bear with me for a second, when John Browning designed the gun, it's its own toolbox. So as you detail strip it, the parts can be used as tools to further detail strip it. For example, if you've got slotted stock screws, your sear spring, this little crook that you use to take the mag catch out, also can take your stock screws off. So that's why I like flathead stock screws, slotted, but whatever. The hammer hooks look good. The strut pin is still, it's nicely dimpled. It's firm in there. I mean, all the pieces that what I would consider wear items, the only wear they're showing is a little bit of wear on the finish, which is exactly to be expected. So y'all may be going, well, daggum, Hunter, you know, you've picked this gun apart. You didn't like this, and you didn't like that. But hold on now, these are my opinions. You know, somebody else may be like, I gotta have a full-length guide rod. I don't care about a polymer mainspring housing. That's awesome. But I want you to understand that, you know, with an MSRP of $685, street price better than that, you're getting a lot of gun for the money. A lot of good features on this pistol. It is reliable. It is accurate. It's held up well. I figured it would serve well as a concealed carry, duty gun, that sort of thing. So that's just one thing to consider. Now, I will say this, because of this monolith type accessory rail, when you're choosing your holster, be sure that you choose a holster that will accommodate this kind of receiver. Finding a holster that will accommodate a pistol with a light can be tough. I mounted a Streamlight TLR1 HL on it, and I used my Talon holster that worked very well for this pistol. So if you're looking for a holster that'll accommodate this gun or any of your 1911s that's got a rail with a light, look at Talon holsters. They do a pretty good job on their holsters. And I think it's a nice pistol. I really do. A couple things on it that I would change, but y'all, I'll be honest with you, that's the beauty of the 1911. It is very easy to personalize and make it your own. So you may love it just like it is bone stock. Hey, that's great. Or you may be like, here's a really good platform to build off of. I'm gonna pick the sights that I want. I'm gonna change it to an arch mainspring housing. You know, that sort of thing. So you've got a lot to work with if you decide you want to go that route, or you're just going to keep it box stock. Hey, that's fine too. I just would get a couple different magazines for it myself. So anyway, if you like the video, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. You can also find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, the whole 9 yards social media. If there's something you didn't like, or if you got a comment or criticism, awesome. That's what YouTube puts a comment section in there. Let me know what you thought. Good, bad, right, or wrong. Let me know. Always love to take creative, constructive criticisms. Try to make the articles and videos better. I'm going to remind you again, there's going to be an article on rangehot.com that I'll link to in the description. Go check that out as well and go from there. So anyway, y'all, that's about all I got. I'm going to get this gun put back together. I think I'm going to shoot it a little bit more before the sun goes down and before I got to get it all boxed up. So that's about all I got. I want you to take care of yourselves and each other. Look forward to seeing you at the range.